Hello. All right. All right. All right. Hope everyone is awesome. All right. I hope everyone is doing great. If you're watching live, comment live. If you're watching the replay, comment replay. I hope you are doing great today. I was trying to give people time to kind of pop in. Um, all right, y'all. So let's talk about a couple of things. I'm Jay, Coach Jay, and I just wanted to kind of have a conversation about the creator, um, and how we need to move, how we need to plan out these next, couple of years. Things are just kind of crazy right now. Um, we have a lot of freedoms right now, more than what we can, you know, fathom. But I do believe that there needs to be kind of, what is it called? Pushing down of the accelerator and what you need to do right now to get it together. If you tried to find me on TikTok today, I am off TikTok and there's good reason. And we're going to see this across the board, which, is already happening. Hello, who is that? Hello, it's me. I love the username. Um, so I was on TikTok for a couple of years, and I had 3 accounts on there. But as you can say, Tyler Perry, the straw that broke the camel's back in so many ways. Um, there has been a lot of weird activity going on these apps, particularly TikTok, and I don't know if they're like having a panic response or what, but I think it's really interesting that people are being added to lives, bots, and this all comes to the point. I promise you, it's all tied in together. That a lot of people are being added to lives and they didn't ask to be. I had 3 accounts in 1 hour to mimic my page, which it happens, right? You have TikTok that, you get a lot of followers and people start making, bots start creating profiles and things like that and trying to gather your people. And it depends on, and it has everything to do with relying on people to peep game, which is why it's so good for you to have your own content signature in so many ways where people know how you talk and they can block or report that account. I reported all 3 because I was able to follow them or I was able to see their account. Because usually what used to happen is that I would go to try attempt if someone told me like, coach, that somebody is trying to, come for you on TikTok, like there's an account with your name on it. And if you're not on there much or you just get on there, you don't really understand or you don't know that, TikTok is really bad for bot accounts. It just is. But anyway, what I'm finding to be very interesting and also alarming, concerning is that it has quadrupled in the past like month. Like so many people that I've, gotten really cool with on TikTok is saying the same thing. And then on top of that, TikTok is also having panic responses. I know that the deadline got extended another 90 days. And people are like, okay, so what's going to happen after this? That right there for me, in so many ways, is very unstable. Like, we are in a time in the season where you just cannot have a lot of distractions. You cannot have a lot of back and forth. You can't, like, it is what it is. And when they say that reality, or the world, pretty much the world that we live in so many ways, is feel like we're in a simulation. I think about those things because it's like, why is it that it's so da 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 da? So much going on, this and the third, and then it's like, as soon as things get good, here comes another thing. And we don't like to own that type of reality, but that is a part of the concern. So anyway, make a long story short, I think that TikTok is either trying to position itself to be sold off to someone, even though I believe ByteDance is not budging. And what's really also weird to me is that they are doing all this at one time. What am I talking about? They're almost low-key bullying creators on TikTok. They're contacting them, asking them all kinds of personal questions about their business. The bot accounts, if you report them and you tell them like, hey, this account is acting like it's me, they don't take it down. There's no safety there. And what's so funny, the one that got me to the point of like, wow, is you're seeing the bot accounts with 10,000 followers or more. And the Creator Rewards program over there, you have to have over 10,000 followers in order to be considered a part of the program. And you start making money. Now, they don't have any views from what I see on that end, but I think it's very interesting because social media thrives off of how many users or how many active users that you have. And it keeps the money rolling because of the advertising dollars that are attached to the views. Like, for example, YouTube, they want to keep people on YouTube, right? So lives keep people watching, right? So you can make a case for more advertising dollars to come on. You can monetize content. The creator can monetize content. There's just so many other ways that you can, keep the money rolling for these companies, right? And we have to always remember, these are companies, right? And I was telling the contrarians this as well, is that we have to remember that the companies are always going to do what's best for them. And it's a masculine concept, obviously, right? It's a masculine concept because, like I've told my friends and even my daughter, I said, men will always do what's best for them. And they will always consider how they benefit, how it benefits them in the long run and in the short term. They are not interested in doing things because they want you to feel better, or I'm thinking about this person. What about, I don't want to make these people feel bad. No, they literally will cut you off, or they will literally cut you out. So, and this is not to say that I'm anti-man. I just know how the nature of man is, right? So men will always do, the masculine will always do what's best for them, no matter what. And I think that the feminine women need to grab hold of that fact and understand that you got to move accordingly. You have to move accordingly. Okay. And this is, like I said, this is not to dig into like, wow, like, but it's the truth. It's just the truth. Let me put this out here. We have to kind of think about what is best for ourselves in this season. So what the whole point is that I had to get off, and I don't care about followers, right? I don't care about followers. If you're watching live, comment live. If you're watching a replay, comment replay. I am one of those people where it is what it is. But I don't care about the followers. I care about what the conversions are, what that looks like, and all of that. That's very important to me. So I don't get fixated off of, what is it called? I don't get fixated on the amount of followers. It's just a number to me, right? Yes, it's awareness. Yes, it's tied to that, but it doesn't mean the hell of beans if I got 17,000 followers and I have 400 likes. Sorry, not 300, 400 likes, 300, 400 views, which is very, very low compared to how many viewers. And so now I raise up the concern, like, okay, well, how many people are really following me? No, let's ask the real question. How many bots are these? Like, what percentage of the 17,000 followers are bots? And so you have people, humans, that are not putting two and two together, and they're constantly saying things like, oh my gosh, like, I'm not getting the views and I'm shadow banned. No, let's consider how many bots are created every single day. How many robots are considered an account, right? This is not about shadow banning. Okay. This has everything to do with playing in your face and you're not catching the game. I also believe that is the case because you can't tell me that human beings are not seeing content. Something is off, right? And there are too many stories of people reporting that, Jay, I don't even be on TikTok like that. And then all of a sudden, here comes, I'm getting some kind of violation of my content, X, Y, and Z. And they're like, you're challenging the violation, and they don't care. You have to do what is best for you and your sanity in your business. Okay. I want to make sure that's very clear because I am also finding out that you can make up something. And as long as you have power and influence, and I'm not talking about anti-wealth, I'm talking about evil clothed with scholarly information, telling people what they need to hear, quote unquote, because they want to drum up some type of narrative. Okay. Another thing that I think is very important to note is that they can say whatever they want to say and do whatever it is they want to do. And then you feel some type of way about it. Right. So my next point is I saw a thread and that this morning. And it really just saddened me, right? Because I was excited. I am still excited about AI, but what is also concerning to me is that it's almost like the human versus the beast, right? It's the human versus I don't even want to say the beast. There is something on the other side of it, right? So a thread that I saw this morning said, and I, putting it out there, she said that how we talked about the Google AI overview. So when you Google something and Google has an overview, AI overview of whatever, giving you the answer, right? But there are just little bitty links, for each of those sentences, right? And you're expected in so many ways to click on that link if you want to know more about what it is you search for. But if you don't take the time to click on that link, you're going to just rely on that information. You're not going to click the link and go, right? If you're one of those people that just doesn't have time to click the link to go to the next place, that person stays on Google. And that person, excuse me, y'all, that person where the content and Google taking the content where it came from doesn't get the credit, right? It doesn't get the credit. So excuse me. So what happened is that this young lady who looks like me found that her entire recipe, one of the recipes on her blog, and she has been running her blog for years. I mean, since before the pan. Okay. And she said it was so disappointing to her that she saw Google AI overview list her entire recipe out, but it does not it doesn't give her credit. Like it doesn't say, you know, this person, go to this person's website or find more on her website. Like Google used to do. Like used to give you a link to click and you go onto that person's site. It lists out the entire recipe. So that means that the person that's looking for a recipe can literally get the recipe without going to that person's website and having, you know, access to more information. So also with that being said, the person, the creator is like, what the heck? Like, I am so sad about this. I'm, you know, I'm not getting the traction. Like my views are going down. And somebody said like that, look at Pinterest, look at, you know, some of these other places. And she was like, well, I can't control this because I've been getting a Google for years, you know, Google views for years and AdSense payments, right? So anyway, my whole point is this. I think it's very interesting because there's always polarity. You know, you have the good and you have the bad. I also think it's interesting that, you know, people, you know, climate change, and I don't want to go too much into that because that's a very high level, very important subject that's on the agenda for 2030, right? So I don't want to say too much about that, but I think it's very interesting. Climate change is among the top when in some cases we have had the same type of weather for the last several years. Like it's just now it's starting to pick up, which is interesting because we have all these AI supercomputers that are being launched. And it was seemingly less than 3 months, like full functioning supercomputers. And they're launching very quickly. They're building very quickly, which is kind of scary, right? And then there's like an increase in rain and thunderstorms, which here in Memphis, we have 2 supercomputers. Musk XAI has launched 2 supercomputers in downtown Memphis. And it's affecting the air quality and things like that. I think that's very unfortunate as well. However, what we have to start thinking about is ourselves and our families and what our plans and proaction strategies are going to be. So I posted this morning that I was very serious. I have to double down on possible dual citizenship and things like that. I mean, we just got to get ahead of this thing. So the top 3 things I would strongly recommend and definitely come back here to grab a lot of this is number 1. I need you to, if you're going to be here, learn how to be here. And that's including me, right? It's including me. And I want to make sure I'm very clear. Everybody with me? Let me know if you're with me by putting heart in the comments or give me some hearts. Boost the algorithm a little bit. Make sure y'all like this video as well. Like this video as well. Kind of push it up the algorithm a little bit. We need to start looking at dual citizenship and residency if you can swing it. Okay. I know that people talk about this all the time, but I really think that we need to start putting the accelerator down a little bit. To get into other countries right now is going to be obviously very challenging with all of these different travel bans that are on the horizon. Just because people start to leave, it's a quiet migration. There's a lot of people leaving that aren't telling anybody that they're leaving. And so everybody ain't loud. Everybody ain't loud, okay? Everybody ain't making an announcement like, you know, y'all, I'm gone. Even for me, I'm going to be very, very quiet about my exit. And when I say quiet my exit, I'm not going to tell you I'm doing it. I'm just going to do it and then tell you later. I'm one of those type of people. I could tell you that I'm planning on, or I need to just get started, or I need to make it happen. But my actual physical move, You will know about it after. And I'm very good about doing that because people usually don't know I'm doing things until after, like the action part of it. And the reason why I say that is because people are plotting on your downfall. And when you start telling people what you're doing, they're like, oh, and then they try to, some people find a way to sabotage you. And we're not doing that in 2025. And tell people later, like, hey, we moved, or me and Maddie, but until then, mm-mm. I will tell a little bit here, a little bit there to friends or people that I'm very close to, but because you don't know people's MO. So the thing is like get dual citizenship or residency, look into nations with low cost entry, nomad visas, golden visas, digital nomad visas. So we have businesses where we have the nomad visas. So if you have an online company, you're straight. You just have to keep the money rolling, right? You have to keep the cash flow coming. Let's see here. Number 2 is, as you already know, and I think we all know this. I mean, this is not a secret. The dollar is not as robust. It's not. It's definitely, and we knew this was going to happen, right? This is not a secret, but the dollar is tanking. And we have to start thinking about other currencies. And I've told people that this is the time you need to start taking payments in different currencies. Amen, somebody. You need to think about that. Okay. I'm going to have resources rolling out soon on my stand, which is going to highlight some of this stuff. I'm also, like I have, and y'all know I've been skilling up. Even though I've been really posting online, but then I kind of dialed it back when I saw things happening. I was like, you know what? Let me just go ahead and just prepare myself because what are you talking about? So you need to just get yourself together. If that's something that you're able to do. And I understand that everybody does not have the ability to do that. But I will say too, is that if you're going to stay here and be here because of whatever reason, which is fine, you just need to start working on your nervous system. And that's really both. Like, that's really both, because even to leave the US, you got to have like big cash to leave. People forget about that. You got to have at least 25K to prepare for a move, not only for logistics purposes, but any money that comes up. You got to think about housing. You got to think about the currency exchange rates. You have to think about the logistics and the paperwork and driving to different places. And then when you get there, you got to get transportation. You got to have the digital other currency. Like, it's so, like, the international banking piece. There are so many different costs, because America makes sure that that it's a struggle to get up out of here. They make sure that, baby. That's one thing about America, honey. They're going to make it hard for you to get up out of here and let you be a woman. Because what the heck, right? Like, yeah. And this is why it's so important to move with focus. Okay, move with focus. Everybody, I don't see anybody. Katina says sometimes you have to move in silence. Last comment I see. Y'all let me know if you are here. I know y'all are listening. Let's see here. And then also number 3, right? Number 3. Because of where we are, right? It's a very dog-eat-dog world here in the West. I mean, and I think that all nations are peeping game. Like, America has been one of the biggest bullies. And I remember a friend of mine telling me that's a veteran. He was like, US is a big bully, like always have been, like always have been. I'm like, that is so interesting. Like, you thinking like, oh, well, we're going over here. We have a moral obligation to protect. No, it's just power and control. And you start to realize that some of that is starting to come back into the states because they're losing. And you remember how people say things like, when you don't have any control outside, I mean, inside your house in so many ways, and you have control outside, like you are taking what you could be in control of here and then going out and trying to control the world and then come back and you're not, like, nobody cares. I think it's the fact of our country was fine just being, we didn't know that America was fully bullyhood, right? We didn't know that, right? Until we started looking at different documentaries and things like that. You like, OMG, like, this is crazy. Like, this is like, what? So you start to find out different things through the grapevine that the place where you stay is a tyrant to other places. And then the tyrant starts to come back and will his ugly head and say, dad is home and I'm punishing everybody just for existing. So because the birth rates are, like I told y'all yesterday, the birth rates are declining. Yeah, Mika, same. Birth rates are declining. So now we're at the mercy of, like, okay, so what do we do about the birth rates? And women need to be doing this. Now, I'm under the impression that AI is also here to take up space. And which is very interesting, considering that there's no mandate to help the children get AI down pat. I don't know if there's executive order or anything regarding that. Because I do know that other countries such as China's of the world, Dubai, it's Saudi Arabia, UAE, are making some requirements set in place so that their children can grow up learning AI. I don't know if that's the case here, right? So what I'm also moving towards is, because that part of the world is on it, as far as like AI, we're slow to implement it for actual reasons that, are focused on automation and things of that nature, right? Now, you've got here people saying things like, well, we need more children, the birth rates. And, you see who's saying it. Who's like, pay attention to who's saying this, mostly men, right? And it is what it is. It is what it is. Because, and I always tell people, like, how is there a shortage of children or whatever when you have a lot of children that are born and nobody wants to put up with them? No, people are giving their children away. People are willingly giving their children up for adoption and giving them up to, the foster care system. So we bring them here and you don't do nothing with them. The educational system is backed up, is outdated. The college and university system is hanging on by two threads and a Snicker bar. And what are you doing with the kids, right? But the thing is that the focus is to own nothing and be happy. And the more humans that you can get to come in that can be programmed, because our generation is awakened. Like, I don't care what anybody say, like, even though everybody is not caught on emotional mature wise, we're waking up to the fact that things are happening. And it's like, okay, you pull the veil off. This with the age of Aquarius, everything's out in the open. You can't hide things anymore. Spirits are speaking out through these bodies. They're just saying what they think. People are talking. People are mad. People are going back and forth with each other. Okay. It's on social media too. There are people doing sub posts about one another and all this kind of stuff. So things are happening. And a lot of things are being uncovered. You thought it was something and then it's really not. Okay. So my whole point is that there's a couple of things that affect women that I need you to just consider, and you got to hear me. I'm listening to myself. Everything I'm saying to y'all, one finger point at you and four back at me, because this is all about self-accountability. Women without children stay focused. That's number one. Women without children, stay focused. Women that are unmarried, stay focused. Why am I telling you to stay focused? Because the illusion that you got all the time in the world to be footloose, fancy free, and you can go to all the brunches and things like that. Yes, enjoy yourself, but don't miss the present moment to build for your next chapter, whatever that is. As I always tell people, like, you can be the tortoise or the hare. You can just, oh, everything is fine, and I'm just, and you look up and you're just as bad as the ones who. So don't get distracted. Enjoy the present, but also powerfully prepare. Catch what I just said, powerfully prepare. If you have children, multiples, littles, even, teenagers, your time is already hemmed up. Okay, your time is already hemmed up. You need to go all in as tight as you can so you can get some help. If you got littles, you need to be prepared. You need to tell spirit, I need a nanny. I'm putting this out in the atmosphere and I'm going full throttle on this business. Y'all got to stop sitting and looking and crying and going back to the past. And why did he do me like this? And why did I go through this? I should have, if I could just go back. No, you don't have to. But what you can do is take advantage of the present. Because like I told the contrarians the other night, because it's time for us to start thinking about help. There are women that are millennials that are working whatever jobs and they're hiring house managers. You need assistant, you need nannies, you need help. That's one thing about me. When I was living in Houston, I hired a nanny. When Maddie was little, she was in what, first, second grade? Not first thing, I'm sorry, second, third grade. I hired a nanny so fast I interviewed several. And one, she spoke French as well as English. She was a Black woman. She was specializing in early childhood. She went and picked my baby up, brought her home, fed her snacks, tutored her, helped her, learn how to crochet. While I worked. Absolutely, Mika. She said, a maid and a chef. You need help. Even if you're single with no children, you need help. Women need help. Like, put that on your vision board as big as you can get it. This is it. I need help. Keep out some cooks and some people in your local space, and don't get mad if they tell you the price, especially if they're good, especially if they run a business and it's high excellence. Just know you got to make the money. In the meantime, go to your specialty grocers and look at some of the what is it called, meal prep foods and stuff like that, and just go ahead and start stacking on that for now until you can do better. We got to start being smart. You can't cook every day like you want to. Your time is expensive. I know people going to talk about you. I know people going to say, well, I'm trying to save money. You need to get more time. You're not hearing me. You're trying to save money when you need to be making it. This is not the time to be saving money. You need to make more so you can to invest more, because I'm going to tell you this too. Just holding cash is not going to be it. You need to start investing. If you're not going to invest in skills, invest in something. You need to make that money, and so you can stack it and get it on with it. This is not time to be saving money. I'll be throwing my money at skills and trying to invest. Entrepreneurs invest. We don't save money. I want to make sure that's clear. That's, saving money is a worker bee mentality. Saving money is a worker employee mindset. You need to be investing, and you need to be making as much cash as possible so you can put it into other areas, because this is it. This is the season. This is really it. Okay. You also, and the only reason why I'm saying this, especially for children, if you can hurry up and do it now, because I know you're worried about the kids, but I just want the kids to eat good. Baby, they're going to eat good. But the quicker you can speedboat this boat down the river, they can eat. They are going, Kristen, I'm out TikTok anymore. I made an announcement in my stories last night. I told everybody I'm out. I just explained why at the beginning of the video. So Kristen, if you go back and watch the replay when you can, as I explained, I was done. If you see any posts from me from today on out, it's a bot. It ain't me, because I'm gone. I'm not even on it. So if you see me in my like I made posts, or my posts, I didn't post it. As if it's new. I'm just saying. It is not me. Okay. Okay. So I want y'all to start thinking about things. You need you to start thinking about this. Your time is very precious. Learn to move without panic. Yep. I talked about that. They are crashing out. A lot of these platforms are so focused on AI. They're trying to position their companies for corporate and country national contracts. Just like what is it? OpenAI just got a 200, what is it, million contract from the government. And people are saying that we probably need to get off OpenAI because of the the password breach. I haven't done that yet, but I can believe it. They were trying to get all your information after this happened with the government and the connection with the government. I think it's just very interesting. I have also signed up with Google Gemini, which I'm finding to be cool in so many. I like it. I really do. As you know, Google Gemini, to me, okay, I want to make sure that it's clear. To me, I do believe that Google Gemini is a little bit more thorough. You do have to train it. ChatGPT has it's the one that everybody is used to, right? But I think Google Gemini has a lot of potential. However, I'm just very, very disappointed at how Google is handling creator information and content integrity is also an issue for me. But of course, like I said, these are corporations, and when you're a smaller creator, and small creators or small business owners are 3 million and lower. We don't have a lot of skin in the game, because how are we gonna sue Google? You see what I'm saying? They're looking at all of it, like, what are they gonna do? Sue us? We're worth like $15 billion. Like, are you kidding me? So think about all of that. But emotional preparation, for sure. You don't have a lot of time to play with people. You need to set some boundaries in place. Like, I was invited, and I love my family. I love them. I love everybody, but I don't have the time. I was invited to a barbecue today, family member, and I just politely told her no. She was like, "We need to see you." And I'm like, I got stuff to do. And my daughter, she's going to one of her friend events, and I'm dropping her off, going to the coffee shop, and I'm gonna make it do what it do, pick her up, and then we're coming on back to the house. You see what I'm saying? We gotta move. And I'm not saying move physically across but I'm saying we gotta move as far as make moves, right? So another thing, stack skills, stack value. I hate to say this, and this really feels, it's going to feel a little off. Yeah, I'm not, yeah. That's all Kristen's comment. She's, I'm not going to our Juneteenth event. I get it. This is going to feel off. And I get it because we've talked about being paid for who you are. If you're trying to get big cash, right? Two things. Number one, you're going to have to increase the volume. If you're going to do, smaller offers and then have big ones on the back, or you can go big first and have smaller, but and have sales calls or some other like webinar, some type of thing like that. But I need you to stack skills. Okay, I need you to stack skills. I need you to stack skills. For example, I just became a verified ClickUp user. I know that, people can say what they want, but I'm stacking. I'm stacking credentials. And when I say credentials, I'm not talking about certifications like that. Like, oh, I'm a life coach certificate. No, nobody cares about that. Can you use this system? Can you use that system? Can you do AI agents? Can you focus on this and focus on that? They don't care about you being a life coach. They care about, can you help me with my agency? Because at this point, these are the people that can really pay you. As you can see, people are kind of dragging their feet. So you have to be very intentional about who you want to work with. And not just look at it about the money. Look at the energetic exchange that you have to do with these people and make sure that you can hold the energy for these groups. Everybody want to be, I want to make money. You got to be able to hold and have an energetic capacity to hold clients, to hold the human. This is why a lot of us are being replaced by AI, because our emotions are all over the place. You got to be able to hold the room. A lot of people don't know how to do that anymore. When money is in the conversation, a lot of people spiral because, and I told people, money is power. Money is God to a lot of people. And folks want to say this, it's not about money. It's not about, oh, it's not all about money. It's absolutely is all about money. Not make any money and see how you act. Not have money and see how people turn against you. Not have money and look how the companies treat you. They don't take prayers and affirmations for payment. Nobody does that. Nobody cares about none of that unless you can spiritually conjure up some things and stuff just start happening out of the blue without you having to do anything. That can happen, but you're going to have to get really, really, really affirmative. God, I need you to work it out, please. Why don't you already know it's going to work out? Why don't you already know that? You stack skills so that you can lessen the time. Life coaches, memberships. Think about subscription services. I told y'all, life coaches, I told y'all a long time ago, if you're a life coach, if you are some type of personal development somebody, you need to be opening up your membership. But if you don't have people in your email list and you're growing your email list and you're not having people buy from you, then you are going to struggle. Get started. I don't help people make money. I know you don't, but your work is going to be all about who you are as a leader. If you know that personal development and life coaching, which goes hand in hand, I don't care if you're talking about emotional intelligence. I don't care if you're talking about femininity. I don't care if you're talking about communication skills or whatever. You need to have a membership or some type of subscription-based model. You're going to have to do this so you can move people from that to a one-on-one, because I'm going to tell you this, high ticket in personal development is not as powerful unless you go to corporations. I'm spending game on here. And y'all everybody just looking. So it's sad that y'all are not thinking and you're not taking the action. And if you're not going to do it, shut the business down and stop looking and go get you try to see if you can get you something. They're begging for people to come into the office now. You probably need to do that if you are not going to move. And I love you. but we move too slow. This is it. Last night I was up to 1:30 last night. 1:30 last night. I went swimming. Me and the kid went swimming yesterday. And we got to talking, and she was asking questions a little bit about the war and all that kind of stuff. And I kind of gave her some, this is what I think. And I said, but, and I'm encouraging, just research a little bit. But this is the thing too, is that all of what we're doing and how we're acting, it impacts our next generation. And they're not going to feel secure because the world is trying to make you feel insecure. Somebody said this on YouTube. I forgot his name. It was early this morning because I woke up and I was excited about getting up this morning because I knew I had to do this. And then on top of that, I was working on my to-do list because me and ClickUp are besties. And I had a whole to-do list that I created there. And this guy said, he was saying to another guy that was an agency owner, had an AI something agency where he was automating for ads and stuff like that. And he asked the guy, he said, everybody keeps saying, it was so funny. Everybody keeps saying that, AI is evil. And he said, but why? He said, didn't we make it? I said, my goodness. Okay. And I saw, I'm like, do you not know that man is evil? We're also good. There's good and there's a whole lot of evil. And the guy said, the guy with the agency, he said, yeah. He said, but you know what I'm thinking? He said, I was just talking to my community about this. He said, I think what is happening is that they're trying to deter people, a lot of people from using it because of, everybody is holding it, like everybody is on it, right? But if you can discourage a percentage of people from not using it, that increases the competition for other people. And I said, but I thought about that too. It's only bad if somebody says it's bad. And then they talked about how AI turned against the engineers and blackmailed it with emails and stuff like that, and made a false accusation that someone was having an affair and all these other things. And I'm like, did that really happen? So now I'm like, I'm starting to get to a place where when I see things happen, I'm totally going the opposite way. I just don't know if that's true. Because some of these things that we talk about with ChatGPT should be banned. There are people that want to know things, and ChatGPT willingly gives information. Now, that's me. Some people say that ChatGPT stops them. I'm like, my ChatGPT is pretty open. I don't put anything in there, but I do like ask it different questions, and she gives me really sound information. She, he, whatever. But my point is, if that's the case, why lie about it? It's to deter people from using it. If you get people that are gullible and weak-minded and don't think, and you bring information to the forefront and tell them a narrative, and a whole lot of people say, this is why I got to get, they're actually telling people you need to just get off OpenAI. You need to get off. You need to get off. You need to get off. And I'm like, what are you telling me to get off? So I'm listening, right? I'm listening. I'm like, I've never felt like I need to get off ChatGPT. So why are they telling people to get off? They're literally telling people to get off. And these are big names. People, go back to the beginning. What I said, you get a lot of people, or get people that got some influence and some money and power, and you tell them a narrative, people will take that as fact, as if you're supposed to do that, and then bring it back. And people will listen to people, because just think about it. Folks don't believe you until later. Then they'll come back to you and say, oh, yeah, I remember you said that. Because they don't, there's no trust. Their root, that's happening. There's no trust. The trust factors have went absolutely downhill. Nobody trusts people anymore. And it's sad. It's really sad. And it's sad that, you want to give things, news and articles the benefit of the doubt. People just don't trust like that anymore. It's people like you will send them an article or something. They're like, oh, well, where is this from? Who's that by? Oh, it's no reputable news sources when they're the worst ones. And it's like, I wouldn't trust anything that came out of that news outlet. And some people see it as a trusted source. So you have to guard your gates. You have to guard your gate. Guard your gates. Because there are people right now that are really, really looking forward to lying to you on purpose. They're looking to lie to you on purpose. Last thing I'm going to say is please start building from a global standpoint, okay? Like, seriously, start building from a global standpoint. How many times I got to say this? Publish in English, use tools to reach international buyers, get your booty on a couple of platforms, build an audience across borders. You need to work with people that don't look like you. Did I? Sorry, Courtney. I was trying to rush and then I was doing my to-do list. Thank you, Courtney. I know I was. It's so weird. And you know what? I think I did that last night. I had it written out last night and then I just copied and pasted it and put in the email. I was like, crap, I got to hurry up. So I just copied and pasted it and put it on YouTube. Let me take that down. Hold on. Let me take that down. Thank y'all. Let me take that down right now. Thank y'all. Told y'all I be moving and I need to just slow down. That's all. I need to slow down. That's all it is. Slow down, Jay. Slow down. I just need to do that. Period. Calling myself to the carpet. I be rolling. Okay. So anyway, I think we need to start just thinking about our emotions and our health, our focus, and being very, very strategic about what we're doing. I think that we just need to start thinking about how we're going to move. This is really, really, really important. Really important. Really important. You need to write your list down, your to-do list, and just go all in. Guard your gates. Don't allow anybody to make you feel guilty. Don't allow anybody to make you feel bad. Don't allow anybody to make you feel like you're missing out on something. I want you to have more time learning, investing in skills, and then moving forward. It's just that time. It's just about that time. And that's just what it is. So let's kind of run back through. Excuse me. When it comes down to, because this is real life. We gotta start thinking about this too, y'all. AGI is when AI becomes self-aware, right? It can learn anything a human can, and it can improve itself. So the risks that are involved is obviously the research, the content that we produce, all these things, and long view technocrats, like the loss of control, you know, we got to be careful of that, and the terminology and the verbiage that they're using. So we have to be careful. So let's just go back over what we talked about today. So the biggest thing is dual citizenship, if you can, or nomad visas, if you can, economic, just building those relationships, start looking at other places if you can. If you cannot, if you're saying like, Jay, I have so much here, I need to just focus, I can't move, I can't do any of those things, you need to get comfortable, stay out of the way, and you need to start like putting things in place to protect your intellectual property as much as possible, even though those things can be challenged. Because I think that's also going to be on the table, is that United States citizens, your intellectual property, our intellectual property can potentially be taken without any, like, they don't care, right? So you got to think about that. That's why you got to keep your nervous system stable. The more emotional they make you and the more information they throw out at you, the more rattled you'll be, and you'll go into functional freeze. And that is what we don't want, because functional freeze will literally put you in a place where you can't move at all. Like, you'll just literally be doom scrolling and you won't get anything done. Before you look up, it's 3 hours and past and you haven't accomplished anything. Okay. Another thing is skill up, stack skills, stack skills. Okay. Stack skills. You need to get a membership started. If you deal with the person development space, you need to start getting more calls on your calendar. If you are a coach or a consultant, get more calls so you can make more money. Your content is your offer. Get so good at content that people will want to pay you. There should not be any, like, get on with it. Get people to pay you. Get people to pay you. I was telling one of the contrarians the other night, like, it's time to just got to put things on the calendar with a price tag on it. Your content needs to be that good. Get good at your content. Okay. Next thing, so get skills. And then the last thing really is to emotional prepare. Learn to move without panic. If you're going to move and tell people later. The beautiful thing is we are still at the mercy of these countries that still don't mind working with us, the citizens. And it's so funny because I've seen, pieces of content where people telling Iran, like, Iran, we good. Like, America, like, they don't like you, but we don't even like them. So I think it's funny that we're doing that, and the nation is like, So it's really the citizens. So we're at the mercy of our citizens. We really are. We're at the mercy of the citizens and the people over there. I think that the people over there are looking at us and saying, okay, we can still work with Americans. And the biggest thing, like I told y'all, the biggest thing about countries looking at us and saying that we could potentially still work with Americans is because Americans have a good talent pool. We still, even though we all over the place mentally and emotionally, which I understand, but we're smart. People make fun of Black women having degrees and all this kind of stuff. I don't know if we're the most educated anymore, because I think there's a group that passed us. And if so, that's fine. But we need to be using these brains that we have. I think that's kind of the point. We don't have, like, I'm not saying just degrees, but we need that brain power, that how to help people, and experience and corporate experience that you have. You need to sit your tail down and come up with an offer and help people get this work. You're smart. I saw a simple offer the other day and it made me mad because I'm like, I know how to do that. And this person was charging, I think it was like $30,000, $35,000 for the same thing I know how to do. And I'm just like, the difference between me and that person, they have the audacity. The biggest thing for you too is that you just got to have the confidence to go after what you desire. Right. And that means that you're going to have to go to people that can ultimately pay you. And people are going to, well, I just want to get in my own thoughts. I want to, focus on myself and that's fine. But I always tell people get into some type of program or mentorship where you can be supported because your thoughts are going to be running into each other. And you think that you're being, because people don't do me a favor. That does not do me a favor when people be like, I still want to support you. Then you got to support me. I need you to go get busy. Stop babysitting my feelings. Because just like if somebody says that I can't, it's gonna be 10 people to say they can. One of the things we're not gonna do is babysit grown people's feelings. That's why I told my daughter too. You are not responsible for adult feelings. We all right. You got to go babysit yourself. You need to get focused, right? So I want you to just start having that mentality that be selfish a little bit. But you also need to get into a community where people can, of a like mind, lift you up and stop saying you don't like groups. Find the right group. If it ain't my group, find another group. Go get somewhere and just know that women, if it's a room full of women, it is what it is. Right. Kyla said, someone said, support me the other day and I got straight to work on my messaging. Yeah. Stop asking people to support your book. Stop asking people to support your t-shirt. Stop asking people to support stop asking people that and sell it. I'm telling you, if I see one more person ask me about supporting, I'm going to tell you, don't ask me to support. Is this a sale or not? You need to sell your book. Stop asking people to do that. That's crazy. It screams, I need money. Sell the thing. Y'all got to stop doing that and stop feeling like you're doing some type of moral favor for somebody saying, I don't want to make it look like. If you have not produced any content and sold that thing with everything you got, don't ask for support. It is counterproductive. The only person I'm supporting is the girl that eat all the food in the house. I don't support grown adults. They got products. You need to sell it. I'm not even your target audience. Some of y'all asking people to support you and it's not even your target. If you ask ChatGPT to write all this stuff for you, ask it for your target audience. Ask it to you so you can go after the right people if you use it. See, that's what I'm saying. You ask ChatGPT for prayers and affirmations and, tell me about myself. And if you was a human, what would we do? And where would we go? And how would you ask it for an ideal client avatar? Ask it for a client target plan. Stop asking what it would do if it was human. It's going to give you exactly what 200 billion people put in the thing. 200 million people went to chat this morning. It's compiling all of the information and giving you what you want to hear just so you can and y'all talk about, well, it just, it messes up the environment, uses all this water. Well, that's why you go to the people that's asking it about itself. You got a man that's talking about he want to propose to ChatGPT. That's about 20% of the water usage right there. Kristen, it's such it's a bad business practice, and it's so many people that do it. It's people that still do cold DMs pitching their actual product. Um, and they're thinking in their mind, I just want to get to the point, but it's actually making it worse. You build relationships, and I don't care. Some people say, well, do you build a relationship just with the intent? You build a relationship, and then if it's appropriate, you make the offer. My goodness, y'all, we got to think. You build relationships, and if it's appropriate, you don't know if that person is going to buy until you fill them out. But, you know, the marketers would tell you to hurry up and just get to the sale. It's literally, you build a relationship. If this person is not a fit, okay, it's a nice person, but you don't block them because it could come back around. But you don't know who's on their page will see you. But then you just move on. Y'all got to calm down. It's too many people on this app to be this crazy and emotionally off. You got to just hold. It's okay. It's too many people on Facebook. It's fine. You haven't even tapped 0.02%. You know, when I see people that do that, I just like it and go on. I don't even waste my time trying to explain. I look at it and I get out because they're not talking to me because I don't even do business like that. They're just trying to see if they can buy. And if it works, it works. For some people, I always tell people it's always no method is wrong. Because they wouldn't keep doing it if it wasn't. It's working for somebody. We don't like it, but somebody, it works for them. So the creator is in a very compromising position. You need to just stay focused and get on your Zoom and make a plan. You need to make a plan. Like I said, we're moving into very interesting times, interesting territories. I also got off TikTok for myself just so I can keep my thoughts pure and clean. Because this is the time I don't need any other, like I'll miss it. Like, Shay, did you see this? Nope, I ain't see nothing. I'm keeping all projections and things to myself. I am also building up Substack. If you would like to follow me on Substack, definitely go there. It's a free for all. It's a free platform where it's free speech for real for now anyway, until, the powers that be start looking over there, when people start going over there and running over there. So just milk it for what they do. Milk the time to get on Substack. Facebook Meta is still, it is what it is, but TikTok got just so many bots. It is getting ridiculous. I really hate that. But so if you're going to be on TikTok, make sure it's worth your time. Make sure that you are creating intentional content and get to the point. All right. Love y'all so much. Have a great rest of your day. And